Reversion Raceworks has a DIN.5 radio kit for 98 to 02 Trans Ams. We're going to give it a shot today. I kind of like the idea of a DIN.5 instead of a double DIN in these cars. With this kit, you get the radio, which is, again, a DIN.5 radio kit, so you don't have to modify the bezel. You can use the stock bezel, and it comes with their 3D printed mount, so it fits right into the dash. Along with the radio, we're going to get a harness for it, a couple of different harnesses, but this is the main harness for the radio. To the right of it, in the middle, is the harness that is going to plug into the factory connector. And then all the way to the right is the Axxess steering wheel control module. This one had to be purchased separately. It does not come with it, but I wanted to retain steering wheel controls, so we're going to integrate this into the harness as well. If you've never built a radio harness before, it's pretty simple. I'm going to solder all of these joints together. So between the factory connector harness and the radio harness, we're basically just matching up the colors and soldering them together with some heat shrink. I only missed one heat shrink, so I consider that a win. But the only difference being with the steering wheel module, we're adding in a power and ground wire. So for the red and black, there's going to be 3 wires connected instead of just 2. But this is what the harness is going to look like after it's all done, with the factory harness integrated into the radio harness. And then we have the red and black coming from the steering wheel module into the red and black of that harness. It's just robbing power off of the radio harness. And then we also have the steering wheel harness hooked up to 2 of these wires. So the brown with white stripe and brown get hooked up into key 1 and key 2 of the steering wheel control module. That's what's going to tell the radio what buttons we're pushing. And then out of the steering wheel harness, this yellow with green stripe is the only one that we're actually going to have to hook up inside of the car. So this is going to get plugged into the factory harness side. It's a shame that the plug doesn't come inside of the car with it, so you can't just like make it a plug and play deal. You actually have to kind of cut one wire inside of the dash harness there to make that steering wheel control wire connection. So we're going to get into it now. I actually really kind of like the factory radio in these cars. I mean, sound quality is fine. Oh, my dog's helping me out this time around too. He's always got his head in here. But I kind of like the look of it the most. You know, that late 90s, early 2000s GM radio. It just fits with the car perfectly. Unfortunately, my radio knob stopped working, so it is a little difficult to, adjust things while you're driving. Not that I really listen to the radio that much in this car, so I'm not like a big audiophile or anything, but I figured that I would give a slight update to the car and at least have a functioning radio knob and hopefully retain all the steering wheel controls, and so that way you don't lose all the controls. Removal of the radio is super straightforward. We're just taking the factory bezel off and then a couple of screws for the radio, and then we can get it pulled out of the dash. There's 2 harnesses on the back of the radio, and the one got caught behind. There's like a little tab behind there that sits behind it, so it was kind of hard to come out, but it did eventually pull the connector out of the radio because it was back there. But this is the factory radio harness. This is where we're going to be making the connection for that steering wheel control module. This blue wire, pin 14, is where we're gonna cut this wire, strip it back, and we're gonna route this yellow to green wire to that blue wire coming from the dash, and that's what's going to send our steering wheel controls. So that's going to the steering wheel control module. We've got all of our new harnesses and our 3D printed bracket on the new head unit here. These are the minimum amount of harnesses that you need. I don't have everything plugged in, just the necessities that the instructions tell you to. And you bend these tabs out to keep the bezel retained on the radio. So we've got everything plugged in except for the steering wheel control module. I wanted to make sure the radio was booted up and everything was working fine before we got into programming of the steering wheel control module. That would be plugged in here. So after running through all of that, we got the steering wheel control module plugged in, and it would go through a successful programming, but the steering wheel controls did not work. So I ended up getting in contact with the company Axxess, and they were super helpful, especially on a Sunday at 2 o'clock. He did tell me that because it's a no-name brand radio that I would have to go and upload or download some of their software off of their website. So I went to their website, we downloaded their software, and we had to plug in that steering wheel control module and update the radio on there. So I'm going to show you how we did that. Downloaded that software. We got the software up now. You have to plug in the steering wheel control module with a pretty old school connector. I can't believe I had one laying around. That gets plugged into the box there. And then we had to manually upload what kind of radio it was. I actually lucked out on the first try, and we set it to this Vistion, which was recommended by the guy that I talked to on the phone. So we wrote Vistion to the steering wheel control module. It took half a second, and then we were able to unplug it, plug it back into the car with the key already on, and we went through a successful programming, holding the volume up button and a program to the vehicle, and then we got a solid red light. So after the successful programming, there is still one more step you have to go through. The steering wheel or the steering wheel controls won't just automatically work. They do have to be programmed into the head unit as well. So in the head unit, we're going to have to go into the settings menu, and then under settings, we're going to go over to vehicle, and then there's an option for setting up the steering wheel controls. So you're going to have to click to learn, select your options such as volume up, or in this case, we're doing the mute. So you can press and hold the mute button, and then it'll save that value. So you're going to go through and do that for all of the buttons on the steering wheel that you want to map. It's kind of nice because you can map it to whatever you want. So we have all these mapped, and after you hold it for 5 seconds, it stores that value, and then it'll start working. So I use these for switching radio stations and volume up and down. And then we have mute, and then I use the play button for, I think, one of the other functions. But you can see here that they're all working now. We have volume up, volume down, and over here I think I have this set up to just revert back to the radio. So if you're ever on another screen, it'll just come right back to the regular FM radio. Then I have a preset button, and that'll cycle through the presets. And that's all working good. We also had no issues connecting to Apple CarPlay, Maps, and Spotify working really nice. So here we are back with the trim back on and the radio mounted back in the dash. But pretty straightforward installation, and I really do like the way it looks in there. I don't really like the double din radio look in these cars. I think it looks out of place. So at least with a din and a half radio, it kind of fits the OEM feel-ish, if you would. I don't know. It's definitely not no late 90s, early 2000s radio, but at least it's in the stock location and the stock size, and it has a physical volume knob. So I think all things considered, if you're not like a huge audiophile or someone that's geeking out over their audio and radio system, this is like a really good option, and it's, fits into the stock spot. Don't have to mess with other bezels that don't fit right or look ugly, aren't the right color, etc. But this one works good. I have this same radio in my truck. If you've seen the Silverado video, this is basically the exact same radio. So I'm pretty familiar with how it works and all the settings, all the equalizer settings. You can go through and change everything. I highly recommend putting the equalizer on anything other than what it comes on. So I like the rock and roll one. That seems to sound the best for my preference. It's also nice because it does work with the illumination settings of the switch too. So there's a whole bunch of settings in here, but a bunch of them are already pre-configured. This is where you would add your phone for wireless connection and CarPlay. And you can go through and change all kinds of settings in here. You can play around with it, and you can change displays, night and day mode. The night mode is nice. It's, like I said, already pre-configured on the headlight switch. So if you put the vehicle in either daytime running light mode or headlights on, it does automatically switch to, like the dark theme. And that's always nice that you don't have to configure that, and it just works. The dark theme looks a lot better. I wish I would have left it on this full time. It works a lot better for the camera system. So I'll probably end up leaving it in dark mode all the time. That is one of the settings. But you can see here that you can flip through the menus pretty quick. So that was just from CarPlay back to the radio, and there's not really any lag on it. The system does work pretty well. The one thing I did notice is that the power antenna is just a little bit delayed. The antenna goes up immediately when starting the car. You know, like on the OEM function, the antenna would stay down until you power the radio on or turn the volume on. But with this, it seems to just come up as soon as you start the car, no matter what. And it seems to go back down after the car has been turned off and you exit the car. It takes like an additional 20 or 30 seconds after the car's turned off for that radio antenna to go down. So that is kind of a bummer that it seems like the radio antenna is going to be up all the time, but it looks like everything else is working great, and this is a pretty decent option. I'll have a link in the description for where you can go to their website to purchase this radio. Again, the name was Reversion Raceworks, and pretty happy with it overall.